Broadcast tonight's State of the Union address by President Biden. It starts at 6 o'clock and will run in its entirety. It'll also be streaming on our website, yourcentralvalley.com. And joining us now live this afternoon to talk on the State of the Union and specifically the crisis in Ukraine is Congressman David Valadao. And Congressman, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And just we'll get right into it. Our first question, do you believe the U.S. can do more as far as sanctions and pressure on Russia?
Yes, I absolutely do. And obviously there's some ideas being floated around that we can actually go off of, against some of Putin's colleagues and some of the people that he works with to try to make life a little bit more difficult for him, and especially those who continue to build wealth off of the oil production and energy production that they're exporting all over Europe.
And speaking of, you tweeted out this afternoon a memo signed by a number of members of Congress encouraging the president to diversify our energy interests here in the U.S. Have we done enough to depend on other countries for our energy or just diversify those sources?
Well, see, that's the issue is this president has actually been slow applying a lot of permits that we've been trying to apply for here across the country in different states to continue to expand our energy production. And we've actually, he stopped the Keystone Pipeline, which is another method of us moving more energy and being able to export it. And so a lot of these countries right around Ukraine and Europe rely on Russia for their energy. And even the U.S. itself has purchased a lot of oil from Russia. So what we're basically doing is we're funding this war where they're attacking us for absolutely no reason other than just one person's personal ambitions.
And we've seen Russia utilize cyber warfare and escalate that recently. How concerned, and especially you as a member of Congress, maybe hearing intel on this, how concerned should Americans be about the potential for cyber attacks from Russia impacting our everyday lives?
Well, I mean, obviously, we've always got an issue out there that we've got to be careful with, and that goes everything from phishing that we see where people are trying to take advantage of our seniors to even our foreign nations try to take down our infrastructure. I do believe we have a lot of technology out there that we have the ability to deploy to try to protect us, but that threat's always there. It's not new. I wouldn't be too alarmed, but I would obviously caution everyone to always be on the lookout to make sure they're not clicking on bad links or doing things to allow that opportunity to move forward. But yeah, it's a concern, but I wouldn't say that's our biggest concern as we speak right now.
What would you say is our biggest concern in this conflict that we see is really escalating very fast?
Well, I think the next step for Putin, obviously this isn't an end game for him when he looks at Ukraine. This is just the beginning. And if we don't stop him at this level by being supportive in any way we possibly can, obviously the next step will be other neighboring nations, and then where does it go from there? And I think if you look back in history of different regimes that have tried this before, it ends up being pretty bad. And so stopping it early and quickly and forcefully, which we're seeing a lot of resistance now from a lot of European nations and even the U.S. and others are stepping up. I think that's a positive sign for us, and it gives us some hope that we can prevent this from going any further.
Lastly, we have about 30 seconds, Congressman. Do you think the U.S. should enter this conflict with our military even more so than just moving our troops to support NATO?
No, I think that if we provide as many resources as we possibly can, obviously sharing intel and making sure that we use every opportunity we can with the different financial tools that we've got, but making sure that we supply the weapons that those on the ground fighting have so that they can continue to fight heroically like they have been, is something that is very positive and we can do. As far as actually putting our troops on the ground, I don't see a place for that as we speak right now. But on the neighboring countries, obviously, we have a commitment to NATO to help defend our NATO allies. And so I think at that point, it does change a little bit.
All right. Congressman David Valadao. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
All right. You too. Take care. Hey, coming up next on Eyewitness News at noon.